Hello, Renee Flamond here. This is our second off-topic Friday. And it occurred to me that even though I started this channel in the middle of COVID, I've never discussed COVID. Not once. I don't think I've even mentioned it. And I think it's important to do because I think it affects all of us in a gazillion ways, and I'm no different. Compared to other big occurrences in our lives, think of big things in your own lives. World events I'm talking. Instead of personal events, which of course I think shape us more than anything, of course that is. But world events, okay? 9/11 comes to mind, no matter what your age. 9/11 comes to mind. I was married and a mother of an 18-month-old. Now I'm divorced with an almost 22-year-old. When the Challenger exploded, I remember that. I was a freshman in college. I remember it. And somebody said, "Did you see the Challenger exploded?" I was a freshman in college, and now my daughter just graduated college. So a lot goes on in life in a clip of 20 years. It really shows you how much can change. But let's fast forward to this COVID business. Everything is affected. Every inch of the globe. Effects of 9/11, for example, were far-reaching, immeasurably. As New York is the financial center of the world, they're the fashion capital of the world. They are, okay, so there's a lot of things about it. But it happened in New York. Directly affected over 3,000 lives as they were no longer here in New York. COVID, and I'm not saying one is worse than the other. 9/11 was despicable. It's my favorite city in the world. We were all devastated, of course, my God. But in difference to that, COVID has directly affected lives everywhere. I have a globe right there. I would grab it, but I'd get out of shot. The whole globe, spin it. There's not 1 inch on the globe that hasn't been directly affected. We've never seen anything like it in our lives, and I hope we never do again. Entertainment, restaurants. I live 5 miles from Disney World, where 70 million people per year visit. It's the #1 vacation destination on the planet. That trickled down to every business. And to say life was affected around here is an understatement. The line, on the line with the shopping, that in services, that exploded. I don't think that will ever go back to the way it was before. You can get anything you want and never leave your house. And everyone, this is the part, this is why I wanted to talk about it. Everyone is in a different place on the spectrum of concern. And I think that what I see and hear is people aren't respecting different places. For example, Florida versus Rhode Island is just one example. I'm from Rhode Island, and I hear, there's a wedding I was supposed to go to next week. It's been postponed in Rhode Island. Florida, we're pretty open here. We are. I went to a Christmas party with 70 people. Nobody had a mask on. Nobody had a mask on. And the hostess of the party, she was not vaccinated. Her husband is. She isn't. They're on different points of the spectrum. I have friends who are anti-vaccine, and I have me. I've been vaccinated. The biggest effect that it has had on my life is I haven't seen my daughter in almost 2 years because of COVID. And it's not what you think, that I won't go see her. I can't go see her. She has been in Australia since February 2 years ago, February of 20. Okay? She went abroad to study for her junior year, and we lovingly say she got stuck there. The university did not make the kids move out who were exchange students, and she ended up loving it. Applied there, got in, and now she's graduated from that university. But if she had come home for one visit, she couldn't have gone back. Okay? We certainly weren't allowed to go and land there and be with her. So now that is a huge, huge, huge block of time for anyone to go without seeing their kids. And many of you have gone without seeing family members too. But there's no but. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible aspect of this thing. She went back in the February after being here. Christmas break is Australia's summer. So she had been home here for 2.5 months, went back after break, February of 20, and won't be back until sometime coming up. I'm not even sure when, the spring. Because she's just with friends and hanging out and whatever. Because once she gets back here, she can't go back. That was a huge, huge thing. Now, people ask me all the time, how are you doing that? Oh my God, you've been so, oh my God. Because I don't even pester her with calls. We don't FaceTime. I don't do that to her. My theory is, and now this is a tangent, but I know this is the age where her decision making should be independent of her mother. We're very close. But she's establishing herself. Now, we text almost every day, but if she, and we talk on the phone, but if she knew that she would be talking to me every single day, FaceTiming, then I think she'd naturally run things by me all the time. She'd wait. If she knew she was going to have just a regular old chit-chat, she might wait and run things by me. Now, she knows I'm right here. And we're very close, closer than I could possibly explain to you. But she knows why the space is necessary, and she agrees and appreciates said space. Right? I think this was, in a way, it really made her break away from her whole family, and she was already grown up. But it's surely, I'm sure, tested her. She couldn't get home. Couldn't get home. You know, I think when I had a brother that was in the military, and I think when he went away when I was 19, no, he was 19, so I would have been 22 or something. I think it prepared me for this separation in an odd way. And what was that, over 30 years ago? And you know, you live with your brother. He's your best friend. You can never picture not being in the same house. And boom, he goes off into the military, and he's in Iceland. It was unfathomable to me. But I think oddly it prepared me, and I do call on things in my life to help me with other things, and I think that's one of the things. I miss her, of course. I'm not mad at COVID because she's been away. I'm excited for her journey that I can't even explain how excited. And that trumps everything. That's why I'm not upset. And that is everything that I feel. It's all perspective. I hope this helps some of you going through that empty nest thing. Or like if you can't visit your loved ones because of COVID thing. Especially if it's somebody that is of the age and they're having their life. This is the time that maybe they will shine and will be able to establish their own footing. Now, maybe because I have an ex-husband who doesn't leave her alone, so I always know she's fine. Do you know what I'm saying? If I didn't have that, we tease him that he is an Italian and a Jewish mother, which if you've had either, you know that they're both the extreme maternal on you. So he's neither Italian nor Jewish, nor a mother, but I call him the Italian Jewish mother. So maybe that's also why, because I know she's fine. But the COVID thing is completely, I got off on a tangent with my daughter, because I've had some of you say, where is she? You know, because they don't see or hear of her, and I never talk about having just visited her. That's why. The COVID thing, everyone, what I find is, we're not respecting each other's spectrum, right? Like I said, I have some friends who are completely anti-vaccine. I have some friends who have done all the way through to the boostering. I have some friends who baked their mail in the sun and still won't leave the house. And I have other friends who never, ever, ever did anything. And they don't wear a mask, and they're out in the world, and they never stop traveling, and they just, life didn't stop for them. The bottom line is, with this COVID business, and with this new variant, I guess it's Omicron. I've been mispronouncing that for 30 something years. There's an honor society. My major in college was business economics. And there's an international honor society of economics. You know, when you graduate and you put everything on your resume, whether you were cum laude or dean's list, which I had these things, but I got invited and I'm part of this honor society, International Honor Society of Economics. It's called a micron delta epsilon. At least that's how I've been saying it all these years. A micron delta epsilon. I never looked it up. I went to Catholic college. They didn't have fraternities. I don't know the Greek. I never realized a micron is omicron. So how embarrassing for me. I know. I think of it all the time. Like, how many times did I say that word out loud in front of somebody and they knew it and I sounded like a Nimrod. But je m'excuse, we live, we learn. But with this new variant, people are scrambling. Okay? The wedding that I'm supposed to go to next week, postponed. That's up north. But here, the week before Christmas, I was at a party with 70 people. It's a vast spectrum of worry and concern. And I don't think anyone should invalidate anyone else's concern. I think there are basic things that we can do. This whole entire COVID has changed our lives forever. But the very first thing I think we should do is respect wherever somebody else is on the spectrum. They don't want to visit with you, you got to pay that proper mind. If somebody else happens to think like you and you think visiting is okay, then that should be paid proper mind, right? I think that we shouldn't all, kiss and hug. And my joke that I always say is, as long as we're not licking each other, but it's more than that. The particles, apparently, of this new variant are microscopic. They can be in the air. There's more to think about, right? There's more to think about than just, did you hug that person? Did you kiss that person? Do you know what I mean? And I feel that with the COVID ramifications, at least in this area, I'm telling you, entertainment industry, restaurants, we've seen some of our favorites close, and it's heartbreaking. Entertainment industry, for a whole year, there was nothing that came out. The theater that I belonged to, downtown Orlando, had to cancel their shows. This was last year, but now things are starting to turn around and people want to come back and get back into the world. I don't know the answer. I don't know what the right way to do things is. And I don't agree that even COVID became political. I told you last Friday, off topic, I won't get political. There's no reason for COVID to be political. You get tested if you want, or if you think you were exposed. I think you're supposed to definitely get tested. You get vaccinated if you want. You respect the people that maybe don't want to. If that makes you not be in front of that person, then you have that right, and they shouldn't get mad at you. This is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Every inch of the globe was directly affected. Every inch. And we're all in it together. It feels to me like we're unified because we're all experiencing it together, but I've never seen such division. People yelling at each other. I had people I knew yelling at each other. You're not vaccinated? What do you mean? You're getting a vaccine? What do you mean? It could be anything in between. And I don't know what's right or wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and say this president said that, and that president said this, and this doctor said that, and that doctor said this. Because we're all informed. It's at the fingertips, right here. Any one of us can look up anything we want in 2 seconds flat. So you can make your own informed decision on what you do regarding COVID. But I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that everyone is on a spectrum. And anywhere that they are in it should be respected, I think. Don't you? I don't want to cancel somebody out or not be friends with somebody anymore because they choose not to get vaccinated and I did. I got vaccinated because my daughter had said to me, this was now last year, right when it came out in the spring. She says, Tiny, if they do open up the borders to Australia, you're going to need to have that if you come. That's all it took for me. Boom, I got it. I haven't had the booster, and I don't think I've had COVID. But see, with me, you can't tell because, knock on wood, quick. I'm. My friends and family refer to me as a vampire or the devil or whatever. I don't get sick. Again, I should knock wood. That's not wood. And so I fear that perhaps maybe I've even had it, right? And maybe I was asymptomatic. That's what I worry about. I have my 3 parents very close to me around here. I'm the child that lives here near them, and I've spent a lot of time with my 3 parents. So I wouldn't ever want to expose myself and then bring it to an aging parent. Because you can, I guess you can give it to somebody even if you are asymptomatic. So again, I don't know if I've had it. I have no idea. Because if you get a test, which I did, when it was all like, a year ago or whatever, 2 years, I got it. It told me I was negative. That meant I was negative that day. Now, I know tests have come a long way since then, and I did make a new appointment for me to get one next week. But I feel that we all should be a little more respectful. This thing hit us upside the head. Nobody is happy about this virus having come to fruition on this earth. And people are fighting about it. I don't think that's right. I'm sorry. I don't think that's right. And I think if you are somebody who's anti-vaccine for reasons, 1 through 20, then you have that right. You also, as a person who maybe has a vaccine, like I said, you have a right not to be with that person. You don't want to be with that person, so don't. But you don't have to fight with them. Now, if you know something and you think somebody else doesn't, and you want to politely inform them about COVID or something you read or a new thing that you learned or something like this, then by all means, why are we fighting? Why are we fighting? Honestly, I venture to say, politics aside, we're all on the same side. Worried about it, not wanting it to be here, not wanting to get it, not wanting to give it to anybody, wanting it eradicated. We are all on the same page. But for reasons this, and this, it became political. If you believe in this and this person, you won't get vaccinated. If you believe in this and this person, you will get vaccinated. It's these people that are getting vaccinated and these people are not. What? That's a very personal choice. And I don't get on here. I would never tout, you have to get vaccinated. You have to get the booster. You have to get... I was vaccinated last April, May. Is that when it was? I think that we all went when it came out. Yeah, last April, May. But I haven't had the booster. I'm getting another test because I was in the company of somebody that thinks they had COVID. Don't think they are going to get a test because they feel they've self-diagnosed and that's good enough. But I didn't know it, and okay, fine. So fast forward to next week, I have a date for a test. But that is something I'm doing for my own peace of mind. I'm certainly not going to go and be around anybody else now. That's my choice. I'm going to cancel any plans I've had just to be on the safe side. Many people aren't doing that. They're bouncing from one person to another to another. The girlfriend I had that doesn't get vaccinated, she also doesn't ask anybody if they are. She doesn't tell anybody they shouldn't. She doesn't tell anybody that she didn't. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't make it an issue. It's her choice not to get vaccinated, and it is my choice whether or not I spend time with that person. You can't make somebody think the way that you think, and this kind of is the same kind of coming around to the same thing that I talked about last Friday's off topic. Everyone's fighting about everything. Everyone is maniacally fighting about everything. COVID is affecting all of us. All of us. And like I said, I live 5 miles from Disney World. You think the #1 tourist destination tourist destination on the planet is not affected? Oh, it got affected. It got affected. And it's a shame. And people lost their livelihoods and people lost their restaurants, and actors in the theater that I was a member of for years and years weren't working, and this is their livelihood. People that have to eat. This is why I became so incensed when people started to be violent and show signs of destructing and destroying property and getting violent with politics, with COVID, and they get where they really want their opinion to be the one that you have and be the one that you live by. If you are somebody that is constantly trying to do this, maybe lighten up, because I'm telling you, I've seen it. I have a spectrum of friends like this, because I have them from Rhode Island, where they're very, 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 very much more closed than we are here in Florida. So I have best friends in Rhode Island that feel complete 180 to best friends I have from here. You know what I'm saying? And they all deserve to be respected. I try to meander through and be respectful of people, and if you go into a place and people want you to wear a mask, I wear one. If nobody seems to have one on and I'm out and I'm vaccinated and I feel okay, maybe I forget or don't put it on. A lot of people aren't wearing them down here. And I don't know if that makes like the world, not like us or whatever, or they skeeve us. I don't know if you know what the word skeeve. Tuta skivots. It means like you skeeve somebody, you don't eel, like they're gross. You know what I mean? But again, I don't think I've had it. I'm vaccinated, so I might not wear a mask, or I might wear a mask. We all visit with each other. We do down here. It's a true thing. It's a completely different way of life than everywhere else. Now, I guess from what I understand at Disney, you have to, I think, wear your masks at the parks, and you have to make reservations now. Everything is different. Everything is different. There were visitors in over the holidays. When people come here, they go to Disney World. These visitors couldn't get a reservation. That's something different. I lived here 28 years this month. Reservation? Reservation! Couldn't get one. Now, there's not been any other time I recall in my life here where somebody came to Disney World and couldn't go. Couldn't go. That is a huge difference of life. It's just one little tiny example. But when you drive through the streets over here and you drive through different restaurants, some of them became very, very open, very much more quickly than other people. Some of them say, we're closed because we can't find staff. Now that is a whole other topic. People with not working and they're collecting, and people are getting all upset, and people are working the system, and people are... I'm not even going to get into that, because I would imagine that you can imagine how I would feel about somebody who's working the system. But if somebody's out of work legitimately and they have mouths to feed and look, it's divisive. It truly is divisive. And I'm just here to try to say maybe we should be a little more tolerant of each other. Somebody's method of thinking might not match yours, and that's okay. The bottom line is we all try to remain safe. But I have never, and we have never, and we will never, I hope, ever see anything like this again. And I hope that it comes to an end, right? I'd love to see my daughter. 2 years next month I haven't seen my daughter. My only child. I only have one child. You're talking about a mother who was a stay-at-home. I just stared at her for her whole life. That's it. I have her. I wasn't a helicopter parent. That's not what I mean. That's another video. But I'm saying like this. Haven't seen her. But I've tried to embrace her journey, be excited for her journey, look at the positive of how she wasn't asked to leave the dorm. They had their own quarantining rules. They couldn't go 5 kilometers outside, no more than 3 to a common room. Like they had their own, rules that they were doing. But honestly, she seemed like she was safe. She was happy. She's flourishing. She loved college. How can I be anything other than excited? And you'd be surprised how many people marvel. Aren't you upset? Don't you miss her? Aren't you just, how are you handling it? Well, if somebody's excited and flourishing for their journey, how do you not be anything other than excited for them? That's how I choose to look at it. It's all perspective. And I've learned in life that if you change your perspective, you can accept something much easier than it starts out to feel. Right? Right? There's a lot of people who were, I can't believe she's gone all this time. Oh my God. What are we going to do? I miss her so much. You wait. She'll get back here. It's okay. Everything's okay. And I think the chips will fall into place. The world has been shaken by this. It will never go back to normal, just like 9/11 never went back to normal. Remember flying before 9/11? You could walk right up to the gate with somebody and wave to them. There were no security things, younger people. You could take anything on a plane. Nobody beeped you. There were no, the metal detector, the x-ray things you walk through. Oh my God. It's never gone back to normal, and it never will. This is a new world we live in, and I think it would be just a lot more pleasurable if we all ease up on each other a little bit and accept that somebody may not feel the same way that you do about it. And of course, then you reserve the right to not or be with that person. It's everyone's choice is their own. It's something very serious that got walloped on this earth, and I just wanted to mention it.